This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, so this is literally one of the most important kvarim in the whole country. Rabbeinu Gershon Meor HaGoyla, the light of the exile, which we'll explain soon. He was born in France in 960. He died here in Maintz in the year 1040. He was a Talmud of Rabbi Yehuda Leontin, and the Marshal writes he was a Talmud of Rav Haigain. Now this is incredible. He was one of the greatest scholars of Ashkenaz. His Talmudic academy attracted Talmidim from all over the world, from Provence, from Spain. It became the most prestigious yeshiva in the world, eclipsing the yeshiva of Sura and Pumbedisa. So now the power of world Torah shifts from Bavel to Europe. This was the watershed moment. He's the Rebbe of all of Rashi's Rabbeim. So he was in the times of the Goinim. He was in the times of Rav Haigain. If he would have been in Bavel, he would have been a Goin, not a Rishon, he would have been a Goin. So he brings, the Tzedel Derech brings, he wrote a parush on the entire Shas. We don't have it, it's not extant. We have a parush on Masechta Tainis and a few other Masechtas. And he wrote, he corrected the entire Shas. He made a corrected manuscript on all of Shas, the right text, which Rashi had access to. Now, who calls him Meor HaGoyla? Toisus Menachas, Divrei Hamaschal. Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira says, "V'sefer shekaz Rabbeinu Gershon Meor HaGoyla." Rashi calls him Sheheir Einei HaGoyla. Why was he called Meor HaGoyla? So the simple pshat is he illuminated the eyes of Klal Yisrael. He was the preeminent scholar in the world. As we said, he moved the balance of Torah from Bavel to Europe. And of course, he's best known for his takanos, which he enforced with his cherem, known as the Cherem de Rabbeinu Gershon. So for instance, Even HaEzer, Siman Aleph, Sif Yud, Rabbeinu Gershon made a cherem, you can't marry a second wife. The Shulchan Aruch refers to this Isser already as the Cherem Rabbeinu Gershon. The Ramah says not to divorce one's wife against her will. That's Cherem Rabbeinu Gershon. Rabbeinu Gershon made a decree, you can't read somebody else's mail. Now, today it's a federal offense, but back in the day it was acceptable. What am I taking? What am I stealing? I'm not taking something out of somebody's pocket. Rabbeinu Gershon understood for commerce to continue, for people to be able to do business, the merchants needed something to protect their rights of privacy. Now, we're going to explain these gezeros on two levels. On the simple level, there was social significance to the timing of these decrees. The church had a very negative view toward marriage. Celibacy was the objective in Christian theology, and marriage itself was a concession to the devil. So if Yidden are going to start marrying more than one wife, to the Christian world it looks like outright immorality. So in order to preserve the dignity of Jewish living in the eyes of the Christian world, Rabbeinu Gershon said, no more polygamy. Then the thing is, if someone has two wives, so okay, one of them will be good. But now you only have one, maybe it will promote Gershon. So he said you can't divorce your wife against her will. However, Rav Meor Yechiel of Oistrovs, the Oistrovs says an incredible interpretation in the Gzeros of Rabbeinu Gershon. He says that a person's relationship with their wife is symbolic of God's relationship with the Jewish people. The Rebbeinu Shalom is our Chasan, and we're his Kala. It's interesting. In which Masechta, Rav Tzadok HaKohen writes, which Masechta talks about Churban Beis HaMikdash? Gittin. Which Masechta talks about living in Eretz Yisrael? Ksubas. Because when we live with God, that's marriage. That's marriage, Ksubas. When we're separated from God, when there's Churban, that's Masechta Gittin. Rabbeinu Gershon was worried in the Golus. What if the Rebbeinu Shalom was going to say to Klal Yisrael, that's it, enough already. How long can I put up with you? And the Rebbeinu Shalom is going to send us away. So you know what Rabbeinu Gershon did to preserve the eternity of the relationship between Knesset Yisrael and HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Rabbeinu Gershon said that a person can't divorce their wife against her will, so that the Rebbeinu Shalom can never get rid of us in the Golus. But maybe the Rebbeinu Shalom will say, okay, so I can't get rid of you, but I'll take you and the North Koreans maybe. Maybe we'll add another Kala. So Rabbeinu Gershon was saying, no, you can't be moisef another wife. This locked and tied the hands of the Rebbeinu Shalom, that he can't get rid of us and he can't take anybody else. Hence he's called Rabbeinu Gershon Meor HaGoyla. He's the light of the exile. He is what gives us hope and gives us a future that we know we're confident that our relationship with Rabbeinu Shalom is eternal. He can never send us away, and of course He can never take another Ummah on top of Knesset Yisrael. Rabbeinu Gershon, Meor HaGoyla.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.